Hey everybody, this is Perch. It's weird how life sometimes just like things come together in a weird way. I was just having a text conversation with a friend, and he was talking about, reasons behind somebody getting fired. What could be some of the reasons behind this person getting fired, and was speculating that being annoying is a super good reason for being fired, and it's absolutely true. There's a lot of people love to dramatize things up with like, oh, it was racism or it was politics or it was sexism but all these different aspects of what it could be. When in reality, the most common reason people get fired. Now, certainly there's crazy cases. This Bo DeMeo case clearly looks like, hey, you're sending, nudie pictures of yourself to your staff. That's not going to end well in general, unless you're Sydney Sweeney, and then you should absolutely do that. And then why stop at your staff? Why not your fan? Why not anyone? Why not me? Why not Perch? Anyway, but generally speaking, the root cause for your termination is being annoying, being difficult to work with, just making it so it is work to work with you. So then I knew when I was having this text conversation, I knew that there was an email out there that I'd gotten that was kind of related to this. So I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity to address it. So I dug it up. I found it. Here it is. Just had to search the thousands of messages in Gmail for annoying, and we'll weed out all the ones talking about my show. And then he finally got to it. So here we go. Dear Perch. I'm not going to read this first paragraph because it's embarrassing for me. It's simultaneously complimentary. It also references. It would timestamp this video in a very embarrassing way. Let's just say this mail is more than a year old. I'll just put it there. It's referencing Quantum Mania about to come out. Jesus Christ. Anyway, here, Perch. All right. We'll get into this. My question for you is this. What are ways that people get fired from comics or places where they don't get rehired for additional work? We hear about the various reasons of social media behavior, bad comments, like that Chuck Wendig guy who talked about people drowning in piss. Was it drowning in piss? I think it was like eating shit. I think the drowning in piss was Rick Remender at a height of frustration when Kelly Thompson was making up rumors about him writing the Sam Wilson this dating an underage child thing in his Captain America run. I feel like I just said a lot of things there that probably you want to know more about, but we'll get to that another time. Anyway, back to this whole video thing. But what are the mail? But okay, blah, 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 blah. But what are some of the real reasons, from your opinion, that people don't get hired or don't get rehired for jobs? I suspect you might have an inside view of this. So, spoilers, because I started the video off this way. The fastest way to not get rehired in comics is to be annoying. And now being annoying sounds very broad, so, what do we mean by that? But basically, it goes back to making it difficult to work with you. And making it difficult to work with you can be everything from you don't get your pages in time, you have to be hunted down, you're flaky, you're like Perch, and that you don't answer emails on a regular basis. It could be a lot of things like that. But more often than not, it's just, you come in with a high ego. You come in believing you're bigger than you are. You try and make other people work around your schedule versus, your employers. You make it difficult for people to work with you, point blank. And this is the number one way people get canned from work is you make extra hours have to go into dealing with your shit. And a lot of, there's all these, I don't want to say conspiracy theories, but there's always these, I don't know, people have lots of opinions on why people get fired, and it must be because they're Republicans or they're right wing, and sometimes I'm not going to deny it. I think definitely, but and in the wrong way, it kind of means the same thing. It means if you have a this could be a really weird point I'm going to make, and it could be very easily misinterpreted. So let me make sure I'm conveying it, because there's sometimes when being annoying or hard to work with is is the fault of the individual, and there's sometimes when being annoying and hard to work with is the fault of the company. And I'll explain which. So we have both scenarios. So first off, let's say you're a writer, and you, I don't know, you show up at an executive's birthday party, and then you pee in things. Okay, in public, you just pee in things. Okay, that makes it annoying to work with you. One, because it says you have no good judgment. Two, that you do weird things when you get drunk. Three, you expose your dick to, like, I don't know, whoever was in the vicinity. Four, you've now created a bunch of work that happens after the party. And at parties, nobody likes to clean up stuff after the fact. Nobody wants to be cleaning up shit after the party. They want to enjoy the party, and they want to go home and then, like, worry about work. They don't want to have to be thinking about all the work they're going to have to do after the party to clean up your shit, either, literally or metaphorically, depending on what how drunk you are. So, if you do those things, I think, that's you being annoying. It's the fault of the writer or the creator in person. And then, you don't get additional work. They say, sorry, Donnie, we don't have more comics for you. But then another example of this is you get work, and you have a job, you have a title that you're writing, again, let's say, and then you want more work. And so you just, endlessly harass other editors to give you a second title. You're like, I'm doing this one title. When am I going to get a second title? Hey, let's meet up for coffee. No, I won't talk work. And then you meet up for coffee with this writer, and then, she immediately just starts harassing you for more work. I mean, so those kinds of things just make it annoying. You don't, everybody kind of hates their job in some level. Well, that's not true. Some people love their job, but I'm saying, nobody wants to just have to deal with your crap on a constant basis at their job. And so the people who are, and I did a video on this, and some people have asked me, like, for example, Teenie Howard, why does Teenie Howard keep getting work? Teenie Howard, doesn't sell huge comics. And, whether you like Teenie Howard's work or, you don't like Teenie Howard's work, Teenie Howard is notoriously easy to work with, has been the reputation. I think that reputation kind of went sideways about a year ago or less when, she got involved in something on Twitter that she shouldn't have. But anyway, but for a long time, she had the easy to work with. And by the way, Teenie Howard's now doing a little bit less work than she used to. Is it related to the fact that, it became a little bit more annoying to work with her? I don't know. Maybe. It's not outside the realm of possibility. But regardless, all I'm saying, if you make it hard to work with you, people won't. Now, I'll throw out the other scenario, because the other scenario is kind of the unfair scenario. And I'm not saying this is the case for everyone, but I know this is a case for at least one person. So, if you have an editorial department, or at least a handful of people in the editorial department who are, let's say, left-leaning, and they're really, really excited about their candidate, Joe Biden, and they're really not excited about the candidate, Donald Trump, and you, the writer, are a fan of Donald Trump, you kind of, the writer has a weird choice to make. The writer can either hide their politics, and that's what a lot of writers do. They can, not hide their politics, but also not talk about them, which is probably the safest thing to do. Of just, if people ask you, it's like, yeah, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump, and, but that's not my brand. I'm not going to talk about it every time. I'm not going to, like, show up to the office when, other people wearing dress shirts and a sport jacket to this, to this writer summit, and I'm going to show up in a giant MAGA hat and a dirty T-shirt that says Trump 2016, even though we're in the 2020 election. Whatever. It's best to just kind of be honest with who you are, be honest with your politics, and but don't just don't make that your brand. For one thing, it's a boring ass brand. Whatever the politics are, if that's all you talk about, it's just dull. But if the left-leaning, let's say in this scenario, editorial group loves their guy, and you show up with a different guy, you are annoying to them. Now that again, let's assume you're not being a dick about it. You're just honest about your where you're going to vote, but you don't really go further than that. Well, you're annoying to your employer. It is the employer's fault in this case because they've, it's not professional on their end to get annoyed if, you're holding up your end of the bargain and you just don't align with their politics. That's a different kind of annoyance. But anyway, the fastest way to get canned from something is to be annoying. And I've seen a lot of people over the last 5 years, 6 years or so get fired. And they immediately cite well, I'm a Trump supporter or I'm a conservative and you're harassing conservatives. And in some cases, they are getting harassed. Absolutely. And I'm not talking comics, by the way. I'm talking way broader than that in movies and people who've been fired for Disney and other things. And no doubt about it, some of them have definitely been fired for their politics, and that's wrong. Full stop. A few of them had a kind of notorious reputation for being a pain in the ass to work with before all this. And if you're a pain in the ass to work with and you're annoying and you're not a main character, you're somebody that is optional, like, if you're Tom Cruise, you could pretty much be as annoying as you want, and he takes full advantage of that with all of his Scientology shit. But if you want to, if you are, I don't know, just a B-string supporting character, don't be annoying. Like just, you're not a big money draw. So if you come in like a prima donna and you act like, the world has to revolve around you, it's not going to end well for you. So that's all I'm saying. But the biggest way to get fired, hands down, the most common way to get fired is you just became too annoying to work with. And then they just, especially with comics, you just don't renew the contract. You just like, and so you just need to don't be in people's face all the time. Don't be constantly harassing them. Let people have their own time, their own space. It's tough because a lot of editors will not get back to you in any kind of normal way. So you have to chase them, but you got to make that chase. You got to find that fine balance between staying on the radar and not being like, oh my God, here comes this, this woman again. You got to just find that right balance between the two. Anyway, there you go. There's my answer. Thanks for listening.